stop whatever you're doing because the audio has leaked. And no, this ain't a remix, a testimony, or a gospel interlude. This is the voice of David Mann, the so-called king of Christian comedy, caught red-handed plotting something so evil, Lucifer himself might need a moment. And beside him, not an angel, not a doctor, but Dr. Jackie just signed here Lewis, the woman who apparently traded her medical license for a gospel record deal. Are y'all hearing this? Because according to this bombshell recording that just hit the internet harder than Kanye at an award show, David and Jackie were allegedly plotting Tamela Mann's murder. Yes, you read that right, murder, not mishap, not medication mix-up. Straight up calculated gospel widowmaking. You thought the Mann family was goals? You thought those Sunday best Instagram posts were real? Baby, that wasn't gospel, it was gaslighting. So why would a husband and a so-called doctor plan to silence the woman whose voice carried millions to church every Sunday? What were they so scared she'd say? Get your receipts, your holy oil, and your popcorn ready because this ain't church gossip anymore. This is a spiritual crime scene, and we're digging all the way in. So let's just ask the question everybody's been afraid to say out loud. Did David Mann actually plan his wife Tamela's death in the name of gospel prophets? Because baby, if this new audio is real, and let's be honest, it sounds a lot like him, then the so-called first family of faith just got exposed as the first fraud of gospel, and sitting right there with him, Dr. Jackie Lewis, the same woman who swore she was Tamela's friend, spiritual advisor, and personal physician. But now, she's sounding more like Nurse Ratched in a Chanel blazer. Because in this leaked audio recorded 2 years ago on what insiders claim was Tamela's own iPad, they're heard casually discussing her decline, the timing of her collapse, and how they just need to make sure she doesn't wake up talking. Excuse me. Now, if you've been living under a pew, let me catch you up on the mess that's been brewing like bad communion wine. Weeks ago, Tiffany Mann, yes, Tamela's only daughter and the one person who's been silent through years of family drama, went live at a hair in a bun, no glam, tears in her eyes, speaker in her hand. And what came out of that Bluetooth speaker turned the internet into a spiritual crime scene. David's voice, Jackie's agreement, and a murder plan. But see, that was just the beginning. What we have now, this new full-length audio, it's the extended version. It's the behind-the-scenes, backroom, bonus track kind of evil that makes you want to anoint your phone with oil. The recording begins with David chuckling, y'all, as he says, "We don't need her lucid, we need her loyal and gone, quietly." To which Jackie replies, "We'll give her the pills, up the dosage, and when she slips, we'll call it a decline. Everyone will believe it. She's tired. She's older." That's how these things go. And if your stomach just dropped, good, because so did ours. This isn't reality TV. This isn't Greenleaf. This is real-life betrayal by people who preach about love, faith, and God's plan every time a camera is rolling. Let's rewind the clock, shall we? Because if you look back at the past 2 years, the signs were always there. First, Tamela started missing rehearsals. She'd forget lyrics, something fans brushed off as exhaustion. Then she canceled her live tour. Word was doctor's orders, but no one could name the doctor. Then came the diagnosis, early onset dementia. That hit the blogs, gospel pages, and even bet everyone was praying for her. While she was being slowly drugged by her own team, Tiffany hinted at it during her last live, remember? She said, "My mama was writing songs a month before she forgot who I was." Y'all think that's coincidence? But now, this audio confirms it was never God's timing, it was David's business plan. The plan was to push her out, silence her, and control the legacy without the woman who built it. And let's not act like this is out of character. This isn't David's first trip down shady lane. Remember that messy bet special that never aired? The one insiders said was too dark for gospel TV. Rumor has it Tamela was cut out of the edit entirely, her scenes deleted. Her voice muted. And who was the executive producer? David Mann. Then there's the silent firings at the Mann family studio veteran staff who were suddenly replaced. One former background singer anonymously told Gospel Daily, Tamela used to make every creative decision, but then she stopped showing up. Not because she didn't want to, because she wasn't allowed to. Let that sink in. Meanwhile, David's been thriving. TV appearances, merch deals, a brand new tour with just his name on the poster. David Mann. A man's word. That's right. The woman whose voice made him famous was erased so he could stand solo in the spotlight. And guess who was sitting front row at every show, clipboard in hand? Dr. Jackie. The same woman now heard in this audio saying, we just need to keep the medication flowing until it's irreversible. Then we can tell the public it was God's will. They'll cry, they'll forgive, and you'll get your network deal. Oh, so this wasn't just about ego. This was about building a gospel empire on a foundation of silence, drugs, and one woman's stolen voice. Tiffany knew something was wrong. And say what you will about her quiet, private, a little aloof but baby, she is her mother's daughter. And when she found that audio buried in Tamela's iCloud, she didn't call lawyers. She didn't write a blog post. She went live, and the moment that recording hit the internet, hell broke loose. Fans wept. Celebrities unfollowed David. Christian. TikTok went into full warfare mode. One tweet went viral with over 600,000 likes. Tamela Mann was the voice of a generation, and they tried to kill that voice because it threatened their fake gospel hustle. I'm sick. But if you think the public was angry, wait till you hear what happened inside the church circles. Several megachurches pulled out of David's upcoming appearances. Choir directors started canceling Mann family music from their set lists. Pastors who once proudly posted selfies with David, silent, like tombstones. Meanwhile, Jackie's medical license is now under review. Her clinic's Yelp page was bombed with 1-star reviews in under 24 hours. One review read, I brought my mom here for vitamins. Left with a prescription for obedience. Run, and yet, neither David nor Jackie has released a statement. No apology, no explanation, not even a denial, just silence, which honestly feels louder than anything they could say. But just when people thought the worst was over, just when the news was starting to cool down, Tiffany came back online, this time, not to cry, not to shake, but to finish what she started, with a fresh hoodie, no makeup, and the same Bluetooth speaker in hand. She stared into the camera and said, there's more. You thought that was bad? Buckle up, because I've got the full plan, and I'm dropping names. And then? So Tiffany leans in, stares dead into the camera, and says, y'all thought that was bad? This one is worse. Way worse. She taps the speaker again. There's a pause, a soft crackle, and then David's voice again. Calm, calculated, cold, like a man signing death certificates with a praise break in the background. If she doesn't die, we both go down. Jackie, it's that simple. I already paid the doctor. He knows what to do. And just like that, boom, the gospel world cracked in half. This wasn't just a messy family feud anymore. This was sounding more and more like a premeditated, orchestrated takedown of a gospel icon by her own husband and his medically certified hitwoman. Tiffany didn't flinch. She didn't cry this time. She let the world hear it unfiltered. And while the audio kept playing, she said one sentence that sent chills across every social media platform. They were counting on her dying quietly. But now, all can hear them screaming through the mask. And y'all, the internet didn't just react, it erupted. Twitter trended worldwide in under 15 minutes. Justice for Tamela Aristavitman, Dr. Dethajakski Gospelemprzy posts Tamela Mudered. Influencers started dissecting the audio like CSI agents. One user at ChurchTia4U went viral with a stitched video pointing out a line from David. We just need her estate to stay intact, she don't gotta be alive for that. What? Excuse me, was this about a will? A gospel inheritance? Rights? to her catalog? Because the way these two plotted with medical terms, prescription codes, and hospital schedule references, it's almost like they knew no one would question them. Why? Because they were church royalty, but baby, not anymore. And if that wasn't enough to make your communion juice curdle, Tiffany dropped a third bomb. She held up a document, Tamela's original living will. This was signed into 019 long before they started saying she had dementia. She was a full sound mind. It names me as her medical proxy, not David, not Jackie, me. And yet they locked me out of the room the night she collapsed. They told nurses I was estranged. They told security I was dangerous. But here's the thing, they didn't read the fine print. And now I've got lawyers reading it out loud. Viewers were sobbing in the comments. One wrote, "She's not just fighting for her mama, she's fighting for every black woman who got silenced by family in the name of faith." And then came the church shakeup. Remember the First Holy Kingdom Baptist of Dallas? David's home church, the one where Tamela sang her first solo at age 16. Yeah, they kicked David out permanently. The head pastor released a statement that felt like a diss track in scripture form. "We rebuke the spirit of deception, even when it wears a gospel suit." Boom! His name was wiped from the website, sermons deleted, tour posters burned, Jackie's medical clinic closed overnight, sign ripped down, phone disconnected, Instagram gone, and the biggest twist? The nurse who treated Tamela during her collapse came forward anonymously. She reached out to Gospel News Daily under a shadow account and said, "We were told not to ask questions." Jackie signed everything. David said Tiffany was not allowed in, but something felt wrong. Tamela's vitals didn't match what was on the paperwork. She wasn't showing dementia signs. She was sedated, deeply, repeatedly, and if you thought that was scary, there's more. Bank records leaked. A whistleblower from David's accountant's office dropped screenshots to the press showing a series of payments labeled consultation fees to Dr. Jackie's private account, totaling over $180,000, all within 4 months of Tamela's hospitalization. Tell me again this was just a coincidence? Meanwhile, Tamela is still in recovery, slowly regaining movement. She's still not fully speaking, but nurses confirm she's been tracking Tiffany with her eyes, squeezing her hand, even nodding slightly to yes or no questions. The public calls it a miracle. Tiffany calls it proof she's hearing us. Y'all think she's weak? No, my mama's a warrior. They tried to sedate her spirit, but guess what? You can't kill what God anointed. And just when people thought it couldn't get more unholy, guess who tried to go live from a burner account? David, yes. Our brother David tried to go anonymous, but the voice, the posture, the bad lighting, everyone knew. And what did he say? Y'all don't understand what was really going on. Tamela was changing. She wasn't well. I didn't want to do anything to hurt her, but the brand, our legacy, it needed structure, control. Jackie stepped in to help. That's all. Boy, goodbye. You don't control a woman's life because you're scared of her power. You don't structure a gospel empire by drugging the woman who built it. And while David was busy fake apologizing on alt accounts, federal investigators stepped in. Yep. The Department of Health and Human Services launched a formal inquiry into Dr. Jackie's medical conduct. Tamela's toxicology report is being reviewed by third-party specialists, and according to the New York Gospel Observer, David may be facing charges ranging from medical fraud to attempted homicide. Meanwhile, people across the country are rallying behind Tamela. Candlelight vigils held in Chicago, Houston, and Atlanta. Fans singing "Take Me to the King" outside hospital doors. Gospel radio stations playing Tamela's catalog back-to-back as a tribute. One viral post showed a little girl holding a sign that read, "Her songs healed my mama. Now we're singing for hers." Phew. And while all this unfolds, Tiffany? She's staying in that hospital, day in, day out, wearing the same hoodie, holding the same hand. And in her words, "I won't leave until she opens her mouth and tells The world what they tried to take from her. But baby, the way this thing's unraveling. We're just scratching the surface because a fourth recording has surfaced. This one, sent anonymously to Gospel Tea Weekly. And it includes a third player, a gospel executive, a major name, one we all know, and what's said on that call. Let's just say it'll make you rethink every church award show from the last decade. So just as the public was catching its breath, thinking maybe, just maybe, the storm was starting to calm, another audio bomb dropped from the sky like Judgment Day itself, sent anonymously to Gospel Tea Weekly at 3:33 am witching hour. Y'all, this wasn't just any leak. This was a career-ending, soul-snatching, kingdom-destroying recording featuring none other than Bishop Malcolm Everett. Yes, that Bishop Malcolm, the face of 3 national gospel conferences, the executive producer of Gospel's Royalty Reunion, the same man who once laid hands on Tamela in front of 40,000 people at Megafest and called her a generational wellspring of God's glory, and now, his voice is captured on tape, not praying, not praising, but plotting. If Tamela talks, it's not just David that goes down. We all do. Tours, shows, endorsements. We've built too much around her image. And if that image cracks, the whole damn industry caves. The industry? Now we're talking gospel conspiracy? The recording continues. David chimes in next. We've kept this together for years. Her voice made millions, but her mouth, that's the liability. Then Jackie, it's emotional breakdown. That's the narrative. We spin it with compassion. She's overwhelmed. A breakdown of faith. That's what we feed the media. You have got to be kidding. So this was never just a personal betrayal. This was a coordinated, faith-based cover-up orchestrated by the very people who built Tamela up then drugged her down. Tiffany responded within minutes of the leak. Another Instagram live, eyes bloodshot, hands shaking, but this time, her voice was stone cold. Y'all wanna silence my mama for a brand? For a Grammy? For a bet rerun? Then go ahead and spin your little story, but know this, I ain't done yet. And then she held up a flash drive. This, right here, is the full call. 17 minutes of them talking like God wasn't listening. The internet exploded. Twitter became a war zone. TikTok influencers dressed in choir robes began reenacting the scandal like courtroom dramas. Someone even edited David's old sermons with subtitles like, "He who poisons his wife shall not prosper," and baby, it wasn't just the fans flipping out. The fallout hit the gospel world like a spiritual earthquake. Beck quietly removed all Tamela and David specials from their on-demand catalog. The Gospel Music Association issued a vague statement about integrity concerns. Multiple pastors who once booked David for comedy nights suddenly couldn't be reached for comment. And then the biggest blow of all. The not cancelled David's Lifetime Achievement Award. Gone. Just like that. Meanwhile, Dr. Jackie? Gone. As in vanished. Her family claims she's checking into a wellness retreat. Insiders say she fled the country. But guess what? The feds are officially involved now. The Department of Justice confirmed in a press conference. We are launching a federal investigation into the medical misconduct, elder abuse, and potential criminal conspiracies surrounding the care of Miss Tamela Mann. Yup, that's right. David went from pulpit to potential prison list in just 72 hours, and while the world was reeling, Tamela woke up fully. Doctors can't explain it. They said it was impossible, but Tiffany posted a short clip, no music, no effects, just Tamela sitting up in her hospital bed, tubes removed, looking straight into the camera. She whispered to words. I remember. That clip hit 2.3 million views in 40 minutes. She remembers it all. The gaslighting, the pills, the silence. She remembers who stood by her and who stood over her with a pen and a prescription pad. And while she's not ready to speak publicly yet, Tiffany confirmed a full documentary is coming. Titled, Silent No More, The Tamela Mann Story, Oh, and just when you thought it was all wrapped up in gospel drama, Tamela's legal team filed suit. The defendants, David Mann, Dr. Jackie Lewis, Bishop Malcolm Everett, and the entire Mann management group. Charges include medical malpractice, financial abused, murder, defamation, yes, RICO-level gospel crime, and the court hearing is public. Set for 2 months from now in Houston, fans are already booking flights. One online preacher said he's fasting until the trial ends. Another gospel singer tweeted, "I sang under David's label. I feel sick. I'm standing with Tamela until the chains break." But amidst all this fire and fallout, the gospel isn't dead. Tamela isn't either. She's alive. She's healing. And thanks to her daughter, her voice is louder than ever. So what happens now? Well, David's career? Ashes. His team abandoned him. His PR rep went on TikTok live and cried, "I thought I was representing a Christian family. I didn't know I was repping Dateline." Sunday edition, Jackie, still missing. Interpol may be getting involved. Bishop Everett, under review. All of his speaking engagements cancelled. He posted a screenshot of a psalm and turned off comments. But the real legacy is Tiffany's, the woman who never sang lead, who never craved the spotlight, who never got the mic, just burned a corrupted empire to the ground. And as for Tamela, she may not be back on stage yet. But that final clip of her humming her own chorus, "Take Me to the King," while Tiffany held her hand, that wasn't just music. That was resurrection. So to the viewers, the fans, the survivors, the prayer warriors, and the skeptics. Now what? Do you keep buying albums from people who sing about mercy while plotting murder? Do you keep clapping for crowns that were bought with silence? Or do you stand up and say, "Enough"? Not in God's name, because this ain't just a scandal. This is a spiritual wake-up call. Tamela Mann was meant to be erased, but instead, her truth is now louder than every sermon they ever preached. And baby, this gospel ain't dead. It's just getting started. Now, before you click away, take a deep breath and ask yourself this: how many Tamela Manns are out there? How many women have been drugged into silence, labeled as crazy just so a brand, a business, a fake ministry could keep its shine? Because what we just witnessed wasn't just one family falling apart. It was the crumbling of a gospel illusion. A man the world worshipped, a woman they silenced, a daughter who finally said, "Enough." Tiffany Mann didn't just go live. She went to war. She cracked open a kingdom built on lies and laid it bare for all of us to see. And if you felt even an ounce of rage, grief, or goosebumps hearing Tamela whisper, "I remember," then don't just scroll. Speak, share, comment, subscribe. Because this ain't just entertainment, this is generational exposure. Drop a in the comments if Tiffany did what needed to be done. Drop a if you believe God don't bless no mess. And if you've ever been told to stay silent for the sake of reputation, then let your voice echo louder than David's lies ever did, because one thing's for sure, this story ain't over. And the next chapter might just bring the whole empire to its knees. So hit that like, smash that subscribe, and turn those notifications all the way on. Because when the next recording drops, you'll want to be here first. We ride for Tamela. We stand with Tiffany. And we don't stay silent, not anymore. Welcome to the revolution. Now let's expose the next gospel lie.